We are now going to learn how to calculate gravitational potential energy. Yes.
Life After Level has given us an opportunity to innovate our curriculum. As soon as the students come to Forest Gate Community School, we group our students according to 4 pathways: A, B, C and D. We identify key learning objectives against these pathways for every single subject from Year 7 to Year 11. Each pathway leads to a specific outcome at the end of Year 11 in terms of grades. Our Progress 8 score last year was exceptional, putting us at the top 14th school in the country. But if we are to break down the Progress 8 score in terms of low, middle and high, we see that our low students, they make exceptional progress. So we asked ourselves, how can we push and challenge our high band students even further? So this led to the creation of Pathway X.
What we've done is we've created a special curriculum that we call Pathway X, and children in there are effectively in Year 7 embarking on a GCSE pathway.
I think knowing that we only had Pathway A as our, you could say, benchmark, people would work towards only those kind of targets. But as soon as we introduced Pathway X, suddenly people knew that, you know what, now I need to really aim for these group of students to get a grade 9. So we raised expectations straight away.
Angles in the same segment are equal. If you draw a line here, this segment, this is a segment and that's another segment.
For our accelerated classes, we've hit the ground running by delivering GCSE scheme of work rather than a Year 7 or a Year 8 scheme of work, and therefore that's added a lot more value in terms of their subject knowledge and how much they cover.
90 add 90 because 180 add 30.
But the idea is that they sit their GCSEs early, and we wouldn't sit them unless we feel like they would get a grade 9. So we're pushing them as much as possible, but if we feel like they're not going to get that grade 9, then we won't sit them in there. So nothing's really changing except our expectations in class. We've now raised them.
I got grade 9.
But what we've seen the key differences through our extra sessions, through extra differentiation in class, is that the grades and the marks that they're getting from each paper is a lot more.
Test where you had to prove that this one was twice the size of that, and I got it right.
Okay.
Let's say they do well in maths, they get their grade 9. It now means they've got one GCSE, less to worry about, and they can then focus on all the other subjects and excel in them.
It's demanding, but it stretches them, and if your child is very able, then this is a school where they will be really developed.
Pathway X students have more targets to master and secure, so therefore they're having a double fold. And the second thing is that because of the fact that they feel they're part of the program, they want to excel in this program.
Most importantly, what is actually happening is the year 10 students, not only that they are improving their mathematical skills, at the same time the other students are benefiting from it.
They are striving and pushing themselves to do more independent learning to ensure that they are secured in those subjects. This has allowed teachers in turn to give them more personalised key objectives so that they can then achieve more content and cover more content over the same period of time as the Pathway A students. One of the key findings that we found from our case study is that the DPR breakdown, what we found is number of students in Year 7 who have the same Pathway A objectives. Those students who are exposed to Pathway X or part of the Pathway X program, they have excelled much further in terms of their DPR grade judgment.
I think what we need to understand is that we told the kids that they're Pathway X and they were on board and they are excited for the challenge. But I think one of the key aspects is to have staff on board, because as soon as we started telling staff that we have Pathway X now, these are expectations, as they were on board, they were challenging, differentiating in their classes, as we could see from our learning walks, and that made all the difference. And what's nice as well is that when they challenge the Pathway X kids, the Pathway A are also being exposed to it. So there's nothing stopping the Pathway A kids from becoming Pathway X.
If we didn't have the Pathway X, for instance, what would have happened is these students will just have to continue with as normal, and they would have been coasting. So having raised the expectation, I think there is a really positive vibe from the students, parents, as well as from the teachers.